who is still studying in school? Probably not. Because because it's NIT Silchar organizing, because they hope that most of the students will be from college or from university. So probably they will keep aside the applications from school. Will they select someone with camera? Yes. Because once you have a camera, because you know that probably how it works. Will they select someone who knows the functions and different parts of camera? Yes. So if you are applying to get selected on a workshop, on photography, you probably will mention them as your skill, that you know the camera functions, you have camera, and maybe you are studying in this college, so that they get some kind of idea that whether you will be able to understand the sessions of photography. So that's how it happens. Okay. So that's the people who, for you, the people who are writing the CV, they write it for selection. On the other side, people who gets those CV, the HR managers, the organizers, the companies, they read CV to reject. It sounds very harsh, but then that's the reality. For a post of assistant professor, they will get 30 to 300 applications. So they will select few, but then most of them they will reject, isn't it? So for them, it's a job of elimination. That they will eliminate as much as they can. And then they will come up with a very selected few, and then there will be probably another revision or something like that, another selection or something like that. So for you, you send it for selection, but then for them, it's elimination, it's rejection. So that's the reason you should always think in mind that how they will read it, what is convenient for them to read. And yes, there is one question. So as I told you that, say for example, there is one job vacancy, and then say for example, for my job in Assam University, probably there were some 30-40 applicants. Okay. So if you are applying in Google, you can imagine the number. Every week, how many CVs Google will get. If you are applying in Amazon, if you are applying in Flipkart, you can understand the number of CVs that they get. So there is one question. In the chat box that I'll be putting, that again, you can just write based on what you think, based on your assumption. From the organizer's part, okay, how much the HR manager, human resource manager, how much the organizing committee will spend. Yes, I have got a few answers that people are saying. The question of how much time on average is spent on CV. So Anjali writes 30 to 60 seconds. Tamalika writes 1 minute. Shayantan writes probably 45 to 55 seconds. Tamalika writes again at the most 5 minutes. Pritam writes 10 seconds. Govind writes within a minute. Deepjyoti writes not more than 8 to 10 seconds. Shaunak said 60 seconds. Udesha said approximately 60 seconds. Anku writes 1 to 2 minutes. Arunabh writes 5 minutes. Abhijit writes 60 seconds. Sunil Sharma writes 1 minute. Rajoshi writes 4 years. Did I write the question wrong? Rajoshi, can you please unmute and speak? Yes, Rajoshi. Can you please, you think that the recruiters will spend 4 years to read your CV? Your voice is breaking. Okay. Okay, but then Rajoshi, you can type it in the chat box. So I'll quickly check. So Rajoshi write 5 years, 4 years. Aditya Rath writes 30 seconds, 1 minute. Saurav, Rakesh Gupta writes, it depends on details. Rajoshi, okay. Kapil Dev writes, I think 2 minutes to 4 minutes. Adarsh Tiwari writes 1 to 2 minutes. Almost close. On average, if you take global average, it's close to 30 seconds. So do you understand the harshness of the world? You spent your most important years of your life. Yes, Rajoshi, I understand because my question is not very clear. I did not specify about the writer of the CV or the reader of the CV. That does not figure in the question. So the question itself is vague. That's the reason I explained it. That's the reason I mentioned as the reader. The word that was missing in the question, I explained verbally. So it's okay if you understand wrong. Because the question was not clear. That's the reason, the first thing that I thought that my question was wrong. Anyway, so it's 30 seconds. So do you understand that you spent your crucial years, so many nights you spent reading the many examinations you wrote, and they are just going to spend 30 to 40 seconds for each CV, and that is when, I mean, that is still on the higher side. Sometimes that they just look at it, they just skip through the pages, and they reject it because these good companies, that the companies we dream to work for, they get many CVs each day, each week. As I told you, for them it's elimination, not even selection. That's how they see it. Sometimes they even use softwares for the first elimination. Maybe say, for example, there are many CVs, and the software will check if there is the word MTech here. So they will segregate the CVs with MTech, and then they will segregate the CVs with BTech. Naturally, the people with MTech will get weightage. So sometimes they also use, the big companies with numerous CVs, they might also use softwares. They are not even going to spend time of one HR manager. By HR manager, I mean human resource manager, to go through the CVs. We all read newspapers, so I can try to give you an example which is very close to reading newspaper. When we read newspapers, do you read the first word of the newspaper till the last word of the newspaper? No, we don't do that. Okay. We don't even read all the headings. Okay, we just read some of the headings. And even if we read one complete heading, many a time we don't even read the complete content under that heading. Okay, for example, there is one heading, Dhoni scored century in IPL, in first IPL match. So you read the heading. Many a time it happens that by reading the heading, you understood that what is there going to be in the content. So you skip to another heading. And then you read something which is talking about the recession or maybe the economic depression that is going to come. And you are interested in that. And you started reading. And after reading one first para, you understood the idea. And you read the last para, and then you move to the other section. That is how we read newspapers, isn't it? We don't read the entire newspaper. We don't read all the headings. Even if we read one particular heading, we might not read the entire content of that under that heading. Because anytime we might lose interest. Okay, it's not my use. I mean, what will I know if Dhoni scored a century? That can be my attitude, because anyway, it's not serving my purpose. Okay, it's not profiting me anyway. I would rather be curious to know about the job situation, or maybe if there is any advertisement of the job in the newspaper, because newspaper also come with job advertisement. So that is how CVs are read. They just quickly glance through the pages, and by looking at the first page, they roughly get the idea that what kind of candidate you are, because that is how we sequence the sections in CV. Okay, all of you agree that we don't write CV in narrative format, because for the simple reason they are not going to read narrative. They don't have time to read. So So you have to always keep in mind their convenience and how you can save there. The moment they look at the CV with narrative or something like that, they are not going. They don't have time. Okay. So that's the reason you make it. You write it in bullet form. And do you just add 1 to 15 bullet points with all the exams that you attended? No. We make them into sections. You make a section for academic information, okay, or maybe your educational qualification, and under that heading you provide your educational information, and then you make one heading for previous job experience, and then if you have any previous job experience you add. It's also possible that this is your first job you are applying and you don't have any job experience, so you don't add this section. And then you also add about the online courses that you have completed, or maybe the workshop that you attended, or maybe some internship you did, or maybe the seminar you attended, some short-term course you attended. So you can provide all these relevant details, the details which are relevant for that particular job. So it's not that you write the bullet points from 1 to 15. You segregate them. You make them into different sections. And there is a way you put those sections. Okay, so how you put it? For everything you put the most important first. Okay, or maybe the highest first, like the highest degree. Your MTech is your highest degree. You start with your MTech degree. Your PhD is your highest degree. You start with your PhD degree, with the details of your PhD degree. If you have PhD degree, you don't start with your 10th exam. Because as I told you, you have to keep in mind that anytime they might drop the CV, the way anytime we might drop the newspaper. Okay, so always the most important first. Okay, the most important, the most relevant first. So I'll write it in the chat box. Okay. So the most important, the most relevant first. You don't start your CV with references. Reference comes at the end of it. Reference only comes if they are thinking about selecting. You don't start your CV with hobby. No, that's not important. Your academic qualification is one of the things that you should start your CV with. Your latest job, you should start your CV with. So the most important first. The list, the lesser important the section, the later part you add it to your CV. Okay. So there is also a sequence with which you add those information. First thing is that it's added in terms of bullets. Second thing is that these informations are added in sections. Professional qualification, educational qualification, workshop attended, like this. And then again, you sequence them as per their importance or their relevance in that particular job. I hope up to this is clear. If you have doubt, I can go back and check. Please keep in mind, if you have not seen any CV, it's fine. If you can follow up to this will do. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So there is one yes, no type question put in the chat box. So Y for yes and for no. Great, thank you. So the question was, will you send CV to attend the social week in your university? No, because this is a cultural function. Okay, so there is no very tough competition going on where you have to show your skill, where you have to highlight your skill, where you have to talk about your score, your CGPA. No, nothing like that. It's a cultural thing. Okay. So all of you have responded with no. Thank you. So similarly, do you send CV to me to attend this class? No. this is part of your course. You are automatically admitted. Okay, you are by default part of the course. So there is no selection, there is no rejection, there is no competition. The entire class is open to attend it. So there is another question in the chat box, which is not yes no type, which is little detailed, and you can type it in terms of words. You don't even have to type sentences, just word, phrases, chain of words will do. Okay. So the question was, what are the places we send our CVs? So Tamalika's companies of offering job, Ankush's companies and educational institutions, Tamalika says workplace, Anjali says company and institutions, Rakesh says placement cells, Pritam says recruiting company, and then Deep Jyoti Rai's companies, workshops, Uddeshwara's places with high level of competition in selection. Okay, and Saurabh Rai's companies or startups. Okay, so even startups are companies. So these are the places exactly. So if you can read each other's responses, that we send our CV to academia. By academia, I mean for the job of faculty, for the post of project assistant, for the post of lab assistant. So even within academia, academic space, there is other than faculty. Okay, and then you also send your CVs to companies. Okay, so that they select you, or you can send your CVs. Thank you, Rakesh and Pritam. That placement cells or recruiting company. So these placement cells will look at your CV and then they will tell you where you should send your CVs. Or maybe in case there is some, so they will collect CVs. Say for example, if our university has a placement cell, they will collect the CVs of all the students, and in case there is one campusing going on, so they will suggest that they will select a few CVs, and then they will ask those students to sit for that particular recruitment drive, and then recruiting companies and all these things. Exactly. So these are the places we send our CVs to. We send our CVs to academia, and we send our CVs to companies, or maybe placement cells, which eventually they send the CVs to, they forward their CVs to companies. And so is for recruitment company, they eventually forward the CVs to the companies. Okay. Okay. So now the situation is that you have sent your CV, because you know where to send the CV. There is an yes no type question in the chat box. Does the institution or company, because these are the answers you came up with, isn't it? Placement cell is also part of institution. So I'll roughly take these two. Does the institution or company select you for the job based only on your CV? No? No? Why? What else do they need? So CV is not CV is not sufficient. So, okay. Okay. So what else they need other than CV? Okay. Yeah, students have replied. Interview. They will take interview to check other skills. And they will not only check, they will also take interview to verify those skills, not only other skills. Say, for example, you have said that I have skills of coding. So how well you code, even to validate that, to authenticate that, to verify that, then they will check. They take interview as well. Yes, Saurabh Das says interview. Say what is in between CV and the final selection of the job? It's the interview. Test. Yes, test. Yes. The test is part of the interview actually. They will conduct a small test. After going through CV, they will take an interview. Exactly. So what comes in between CV and the final selection of the job? Interview. So the objective of writing CV, the purpose of sending CV is to get selected for interview. Whether you get the job or not, that comes later. The immediate goal is to get selected for the interview, and then in the interview they have many tools to test your ability as a student. Say, for example, so the purpose of the CV is to get selected for an interview, because CV is very sketchy. So once they get the idea of what kind of student you had been, what kind of skills you have, they will call for interview, and during the interview they will test you. How will they test you? There are different tools of evaluation during interview. They can take a small test. They can conduct a GD. GD is group discussion. And they can also ask you for a presentation. Say, for example, when I got selected for this post, they asked me to give a teaching demo for 5 minutes. So I have to assume that there are these 8 students sitting in front of me, and I have to teach them something for 5 minutes. Or yes. When Arunabh has responded, technical round, coding round, HR round. Coding round is specific for CSE student, but then I'm talking in general. So all these technical round, coding round, HR round are part of interview. Or maybe what happens after interview. Okay, even HR round is a kind of interview. Candidate and the HR manager, where they will talk about salary, where they will talk about responsibilities. Coding round is again part of the interview, and the tool is testing. Okay, and then for during GD group discussion, they will test your linguistic ability, and they will see that how well you can negotiate, how you can agree, how you disagree, how you forward your opinion, how you highlight your points. So that is what they test in GD. Is there HR round for teaching posts? Let me remember. See, when we say HR, the HR is a corporate term. Okay. If you are teaching in a private institution, then there will be HR round. If you are teaching in a government institution, there is no HR round. Because in HR round, you mainly bargain about your salary. And only in companies, you can bargain with your salary. For government job, the salary is fixed. So because the government job comes with a fixed salary, and that salary is mentioned in the advertisement, there is no question of bargaining. Okay, so that's the reason there is no HR round. In contrast to that, in corporate, the salary is not fixed. So you kind of bargain about it. You can bargain about the team that you will be working. So because the things are very flexible in private companies, there is no HR round. But then imagine an institution which is a private university. So in private university, there will be HR round. So if it's a private organization, there will be HR. If it's a government institution, there is generally no HR round. I hope I answered your question, Sayantan. Rakesh's aptitude test is again part of the test. So that is, so we send our CV to get selected for the interview, and during interview, we try to demonstrate our skill. We try to tell them how good we are. Okay, how actually we are. CV is just a document to mention that, see, these are the areas where I can prove myself. And during the interview, you actually prove yourself. I hope I could tell you the difference. So 47, we will stop here. Okay. So in this class, we learned what is the purpose of the CV, what is the very rough structure of the CV. Rough structure, by rough structure, I mean that it's in bullet points, it's not in narrative. And you generally add most important things in mind, and people don't spend much time reading your CV. So that's the reason it should be very precise, and you need to know how to highlight your relevant skill. So that is what we did. It's a kind of introductory class to what CV is. So we'll stop here. If you have any doubt, you can stay back. Else, if you have any doubt, you can stay back. Else, you may leave. The class is over. I have already crossed my time. So stay back if you have question. If you don't have any, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope you learned something.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Aditya. Yeah, Aditya, tell me.
Ma'am, I'm sorry if I was that person you were talking about.
I did not talk about any specific person. Aditya.
No, ma'am. I did not write the answer because I came late into the class. Being wise and being clever, I did not write any answer.
Aditya, I never referred to any particular student. I was just talking about in general. Okay, if you talk to your friends, you will understand. Okay, when I wrote it, I did not have your name in my mind. You can talk to your friends and you will understand. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So yeah,
I just thought that if I was that person, I should say sorry.
No. Yeah, I'll never do that. I'll never pick up anyone's name. Okay, so you do one thing. You just talk to your friends and ask about this question, being clever and being wise. They will explain you. Okay. I understand that you got disconnected in between. You had network issues, so you can ask your friends. They will explain you. It has nothing to do with you. Don't worry.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
It's very general. It's very general discussion.